Hello, everyone. I see people starting to come in. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm so excited. Let me just have a few more people come in. I'm so excited to be here with all of you for the Enchanted Ireland Extravaganza. I have so much goodness and so much magic planned for you. Hold on, I think yes. Anyone who comes in, mute yourself. But I have a beautiful, wonderful assistant helping me do like tech stuff today. So let's see. Oh my God, we got more and more people coming in. So I am just so honored and delighted to be here with all of you. Some of you I recognize. So if you are here, I'd love to, see in the chat what drew you here today, and also where you're connecting from. And also, what about Ireland is speaking to your heart, is speaking to your soul? Because I feel like Ireland has such a magic, has such a medicine, and so many people are drawn to it for different reasons. So definitely, if you want to put that in the chat, I'd love to hear what brought people here today. And I'm also excited to share some of the time that I had. Like I said, it was time planting the trees in Ireland. I can't wait to share more about that with everyone here. And so let me see in the chat. Rose, you're here from Texas. Because you love my work. Thank you. I'm truly honored I received that. Oh my goodness. You are Martha, you're in Virginia and you're planning a trip to Ireland this fall. Oh my goodness. Yes. Ireland is calling people this year. That's one thing that I felt when I was there, is there was a call. It was a very, very big call. And Fleur, yes, to female empowerment and magic. Blessings from Belgium. Oh my God. I love this. I just love that we have people from all over the world. And let me see. I'll just read a couple more. Uh, Martha, you're calling from an artist retreat. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Jennifer, you are here from Vermont. You'll be at Emer's retreat in Ireland in August. I'm also going to be attending that, so I will see you there. um, we have someone from Tennessee. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just very excited for all the people that are pouring in. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I get so excited. But I have someone from Germany. I think there was someone from Las Vegas. And Katerina, you just said, what a thrilling opportunity to connect. Your guides dropped the words Ireland in your mind a couple of weeks ago. Yes, no, there's something. Ireland is calling a lot of people right now. And when I was there, it's interesting because I went to several sacred places, and literally I felt the land itself saying, it's like, you must like, you need to activate people in these codes. And so that was my trip to Ireland, which I'll tell you more about. That really was the inspiration for this event. And I'm just so excited to see everyone coming from the Netherlands and Florida. Let's see, North Carolina. Oh, Noah, you're moving to France. Ooh la la. Oh my goodness. And you have trips planned to sacred sites in Ireland. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it was very interesting. Let me try to start at the beginning. So I went, for those of you who've been following the journey for a while, you know that we did Treasures of Ireland. It was the very beginning of February, and we raised money for, it was 237 trees. And it was kind of a miracle because the whole time, I mean, when I first did that fundraiser, I had no idea how successful it was going to be. I just was called by spirit to put it together, called by my soul. And it's so funny, but the whole time I kept hearing 250 trees, 250 trees. And we only, we got to, I say only, we only made to 237. But when I got to Wolfgang Forest, the charity where we were planting the trees, I mentioned this in the email I sent about this event. It's pouring rain, mind you, and I walk into this grove. It's like pouring rain, and they're like, "Where do you want to plant all the trees?" And of course, the one they point to first in the distance is like so majestic and otherworldly. My heart just sings. I'm like, it has to be that. And then I listen very politely because they're showing me all the other places that we could plant the magical storytelling forest. But like the first second I saw that majestic hill, I was like, that's it. That's the place. And it was so funny because there was the head of the charity, Alan Coleman, and then there were some experts who are all tree experts. And so, for the people who were there for the fundraiser, I had this vision of the ancient Irish oak, and there's so few left in Ireland. That's really what I wanted to raise money for, with the ancient Irish oak trees. And so the tree expert is like, okay, so you're the one with all the oak trees. I'm like, yes. And he's like, so have you thought about biodiversity? And I'm like, what? It's like, I'm a writer and a storyteller. I don't think about biodiversity. Wait. So he explains to me, it's like, well, the trees, like, if you planted different kinds with the oaks, they would be healthier. And I had this kind of like sacred feminine mother moment where part of me was like, but I just wanted the oak trees. And then this deeper part of my soul came through, and I asked, like, what would be the highest good of the forest? And he said to have different kinds of trees, to have that biodiversity. So we were gifted, there were crabapple trees and birch trees. And at the end of the day, it totaled 250 trees. And that just made my heart sing, because way back in February, I told you, when I was beginning the planning for this, I kept hearing 250 trees. And so it's almost like it all comes, even if it's not in the way that you expect. So I'm sharing this because when I was there was such a deep communion with the land. And before I went to go plant the trees, I was guided to go to several sacred sites, one of which was the Hill of Tara with the Stone of Destiny, where we'll be going today. And Dara, you wrote in the chat, birches for new beginnings. Oh, it felt like a new beginning. It felt like, it was interesting when I was there. It felt like an ancient homecoming, because my soul has such deep connection to Ireland. So it was a new beginning, and yet an ancient one as well. And so, but it was very interesting because before I went to plant the trees, like the day before that, I went to the Hill of Tara. I went to Rathmave. I was actually traveling. Everyone here knows, I believe you all know Emer Stassen. So we actually, this is like this is the behind the scenes stuff, is actually, we got to meet, we decided to go plant the trees together. So when I flew into Ireland, we met, we went to sacred sites. It was our first time actually meeting in person, and it was so magical. And it was funny because when we met, we were planning to go to the Hill of Tara, and all of a sudden we were at the airport, and I start hearing Maeve, Maeve. And I hear it like this, it was almost like this waterfall of sound in my ear. I was like, Emer, I think you're supposed to tell me like a story about Queen Maeve, because I just feel her energy. And she's like, oh, we're going to the Hill of Tara. Right next to the Hill of Tara, there is this place, Rath Maeve. It's this And actually, when you go there, it looks almost barren and desolate, but it's like, that is the place where, like, it was the valley of Maeve herself, the valley of this great fairy queen. And it was funny. So Emer had actually never been there before, but the two of us, after we went to the Hill of Tara and visited the Stone of Destiny, we went to Rath Maeve. And it's funny because I said it was kind of like, when you see it, it just seems like this empty grove. And yet when you're there, there is the presence. There is this undeniable presence of fairy. There is this undeniable presence of power. It's almost a sleeping power that is waiting to be remembered. And so that's one of the things that I really felt called, in today's sacred journey, we're really going to have a very deep initiation with Queen Maeve, because I feel like she has called so many of you here. And I know that when you guys saw one of my emails, the one that came last night, it was titled The Coming of Queen Maeve. That was completely downloaded. She announced herself. I just love that queenly energy. I'm announcing myself. This is how you're going to write the email. And so I'm just sharing that because when I was there at Rath Maeve, I just had her coming through. You need to bring people I think she wants me to bring people actually to Ireland, but she really wanted to bring people into sacred space to receive these attunements, to receive these activations from her. And so essentially, Queen Maeve, like Rath Maeve, is right next to the Hill of Tara, where there's the Stone of Destiny. And many of you who are here are probably familiar with the Tuatha Danann. These are the ancient gods and goddesses of Ireland. And when they came, and it's said that they came to Ireland in a great mist. Uh, and when they came from 4 fairy cities, and they brought with them 4 sacred treasures. One of them was the Leafal, the Stone of Destiny, which you find at the Hill of Tara. And that's actually what we're going to be connecting with today. And so it's funny because when I feel like the Stone of Destiny is what called me. The stone had such, it was like a siren call, this Stone of Destiny. And I remember when I got there, Emer was telling me that there are some people who say this is actually, it wasn't the original spot of the Stone of Destiny. It actually had been somewhere else originally, and they moved it. And so I think there was a sadness in some of the people that it was no longer in its original spot. And there are also people that wonder, is this even the real Stone of Destiny? But it didn't matter, because when I laid eyes upon the stone, and we're all going to journey there together, when I laid eyes on the stone, something took me over, and I literally, we went up to the stone. I'm there like caressing the stone. I'm so happy to meet it. And I had that question in my heart because I was wondering, I was thinking, oh, if this if the stone really switched locations, if it used to be somewhere else, I wonder if it's sad about not being in its original home. And so I kind of, when you go to the Stone of Destiny, I receive like initiation activation for my destiny. But I also asked the stone about its destiny. And I said, what is your destiny? And I heard it say so stoically, so clearly, to be here. And I wish I could convey that. It was like the solemnity. There was such a masculine depth to the voice. It was ancient. The stone itself was speaking, to be here. And I realized the wisdom of that, that whether or not the stone had come from somewhere else in the Hill of Tara, it mattered not, because the stone had accepted its destiny. And I think that there was such a wisdom there. So I'm just sharing all of that with you, because there is such a wisdom accepting our destiny. But also what I've come to recognize is that destiny is a force, and we must rise to meet it. And so that's the whole thing. Is I think destiny and fate often get conflated or confused. And I think there are times that something is fated. We meet someone, we just kind of step into a situation. But destiny is the siren song that calls us. It's there in our heart of hearts. It's beating each and every day. It calls us forward. And often we have to rise to meet it. And that's why I think it's so interesting. The Hill of Tara, it's also the place. I don't know if I shared this yet. The Hill of Tara is where the high kings would go to be crowned. So today there's going to be a sacred activation of, you're going to get some king codes. And I think it's really important, even for those of you. I know most of the audience here is women, but I feel especially for women, because we can be so activated in that like divine feminine, like sacred sensual power. And yet it's the king codes that really allow us to like go forth and live our highest timeline, our highest destiny, because that integration of the masculine and feminine within. And so that's part of what I feel like Maeve was really saying. It's like, go forth, activate people in these sacred codes, this ancient rite. These rites have not been practiced for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. And it was said, I should say, that Queen Maeve, she was the one that initiated the kings. So in history, it looks like Queen Maeve was a real person. I believe she was at one point a real person, but I believe she was kind of like Guinevere, where she was an incarnate fairy being, an incarnate fairy queen. And so it's said that she lived between, it was 50 BC and 50 AD. And when you hear the stories of Maeve, first of all, she wanted me to share more about her name. Her name literally means she who intoxicates. So when you're wanting to connect and understand the energy of Queen Maeve, because there are some stories told about her that are a bit scary. But the thing though is the sense I had that she really wants to convey, and we're going to cast a sacred circle, and we're going to do a sacred activation with her. But before that, I just want to say, she wants you to understand her really as that force. Like when you smell a beautiful flower and there's this intoxicating fragrance, this intoxicating scent that just delights you from head to toe, that's her essence. That's her energy. And so it's this intoxication that is so rooted in the innate principle of life itself. And this is really important. So there's something I think you guys have heard me talk about before, especially Treasures of Ireland, called the divine right of kings. And this is the idea the land itself chooses who will be the leader. The land chooses who will be the true ruler. And I really love this because it reminds me of Excalibur. It reminds me of like only the true king can pull the sword from the stone. And so I feel there is a sense here with the stone of destiny. It is like the land itself. Ireland chooses the one who will lead. And this is really important because, like I said, the kings were crowned at the Hill of Tara, which I really feel is the hill of destiny. And it's a destiny when you would have a new leader come. It wasn't just that one man's destiny. Because when you would have a leader, that was the destiny of the land. That was the destiny of the people. How was that king? How would that queen? How would they steward the creation? And so, really, here, I feel, Ireland, she is looking to all of us to steward the creation. And that's why everyone has been invited here today to receive very ancient royal codes, because we are really taking up this mantle as kings and queens of the Aquarian age. And really, everyone, whether you have Irish heritage, whether you have been to Ireland or not, there is a magic, there is a signature energy that Ireland is bringing through to the world right now. There is a magic that only she brings, and she wants to share that with all of you today. And so it's interesting. So there is this other reason I called you all here, and that is the energy of enchantment. And when you connect with Queen Maeve, she is the living embodiment of enchantment. And that's one thing I wanted to share with all of you today. It's like, when you're looking, how do I experience more enchantment in my life? How do I step into this? The secret, this one thing that Queen Maeve really wanted to bring through. Uh, I'm sure everyone here has heard the Gandhi quote, be the change you wish to see in the world. And that's really what she was saying. If you want to experience more enchantment, you must first become the enchantress, become the enchanter. Also, though, the next step, or perhaps it's so funny with Maeve, there's that kind of fairy energy. So what comes first, what comes second, neither here nor there. Everything is truly magical and up to your divine decision and design. But what she wants to say, it's also allow life to enchant you, fully open to being enchanted by life. And that's the thing is a lot of people say, oh, and they might watch a magical movie or read a magical book, and they think that that's where enchantment lies. But life itself is the great enchanter. Life itself is the great enchantress, and life is wanting to whisk you off your feet. Life is wanting to surprise you. I actually had a client who, out of nowhere, this was last week, got invited to go to Rolling Stones concert, got invited to go, and then right when they were going, got a message they were being upgraded to almost like front row tickets. And I'm sharing this because that was a moment where life just came through to surprise her. And that is really the knowing that Queen Maeve is inviting all of you into today, to know that life is wanting to delight, enchant, and surprise you. And when you open in your heart of hearts that enchantment, that is when you step into the highest destiny of your soul. Because destiny comes in expected and unexpected ways. And so I feel like that's also fairy wisdom, fairy magic. Be open to destiny, be open to enchantment in both the expected and the unexpected. So I think we might go into like actually calling Queen Maeve into this space, and we may move more quickly into the activation because I really feel the energy brewing here. But first, let me just see in the chat. Oh my goodness. Um, there's people here. Everyone's asking about Ireland. Yes. I'm so glad that you guys are enjoying this. This was just, I'm just curious. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I had more stuff that wanted to come through, but I just really feel Queen Maeve wanting to come in. So let me just see in the chat, how many of you have connected with Queen Maeve before? And if so, what is your relationship with her? And so I do want to say that in the stories, there's one really famous story of Queen Maeve, and that's her and the brown bull of Cooley. And so in this story, this is an ancient Irish legend, and I kind of feel like it's a little bit distorted by the male storytellers. And I say that with such love, because I feel there was, especially in the last few thousand years, as we all know, discrepancy of power between men and women. And Queen Maeve, I know, definitely threatened the balance of power when she was incarnate on the planet. And so Queen Maeve, it's interesting. So in the story, she was married. She was married to a husband that she didn't really get on with that well. And so there's one night they're in bed together and they suddenly start comparing who has, they realize like we have as many, we are equal in terms of almost everything. I have as many jewels as you have as many jewels as me, you have. And they went on back and forth, an equal number of land, an equal number of possessions. They were even equal in terms of wit, and charm. But there was one thing in which her husband outdid her, and that's that he had this beautiful white bull, and Maeve had no such thing. And so in this moment, this was the moment that Maeve suddenly felt very much called. She had to be equal to her husband. And there was only one bull in all of the country that was a match to her husband's white bull. And this was the brown bull of Cooley, which unfortunately belonged to someone else. So at this moment, Maeve, this is the message that I wanted to bring through. Maeve in this moment is seen almost as a kind of villainous, because she decides that she's going to take her whole army and they're going to go steal the brown bull of Cooley. And so she uses all of her sexual magic, her sexual power, to inflame the desire of all of the men of her kingdom to go and fight for her. And so they all go and they all fight, so that she can have this brown bull. And it's interesting because, of course, one of the messages of the story, they do eventually get the bull, but at the end of the day, it's all for naught. It's all in vain, because the two bulls, the white bull and the brown bull, end up fighting and they both perish. I'm sharing this because many people see this story as being indicative of the futility of war, the futility of just seeking something for material gain. And the message that, when I really connected with Queen Maeve, she has a different spin on this story. And so when people hear the story, they think of Queen Maeve as very, very vain. Why would she do that? Why would she bring all of the men to war? For, just to like kind of one up her husband. And what I really understood when I connected with her prior to this call, her getting that brown bull, that was a symbol of equality. That was a symbol of feminine power, feminine sovereignty, woman as not second to man, but equal. And she really wants to be understood in that way. That even back then, when men were misinterpreting the tales, this was a woman, this was a warrior queen. She's a fairy queen in many ways as well, but she's also got that warrior energy, that warrior streak. And I share this because what she was really doing was bringing through this energy of epic female power, epic sovereignty.
Elsa.
And I think someone is not muted. And then I'm going to ask my beautiful support team to mute that person. Thank you. But I'm sharing that story because when I connected with Maeve, she really wanted me to bring through, for everyone, the power that exists within you. You haven't even tapped into that power yet. That's one of the messages she wants to bring through. This year, 2024, this is a year of destiny. And part of what is called for you to step into your destiny is to access the complete and full power of your soul. And many people, they think they've tapped into their power, but it's that kind of thing, where there is a greater power within you that is wanting to blossom, that is wanting to come fully online. And here today, that's Maeve's invitation to you, because she is a goddess, a fairy queen who does not shy away from owning the fullness of her power. And that's something that she really wants to share. So I'm about to move into the activation now, but let me just see if there's anything in the chat here. Um, Let's see, Dara, you say it's interesting. There are many stories of Queen Maeve and many sacred places dedicated to her, but we don't really know her husband's name. Yes, I've heard some people say his name. Oh my God, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. I think it's like Ailey. So it's like spelled like Ailli. That's some of the stories I've heard. That's the husband's name, but usually it's like forget about the husband because she is the embodiment of sovereignty, the embodiment of power. And okay, there's one thing. Thank you, Daria, for sharing that. There's one thing I realized I forgot to say before we move into the activation, and that is that ever after when Queen Maeve departed the planet, she never left Ireland because she lived on as this fairy queen. And you can feel her presence throughout the land itself. And I'm sharing this with you because it is said that at the Hill of Tara, when the High King would be crowned, Maeve would visit him. And some of the legends say that she would visit them in the night and like sleep with them, and then they would truly be king. But I'm sharing this with you because I don't feel like it's that like literal. What I feel happened was that there was a special sacred transmission that Queen Maeve would bring to the kings after they were crowned. And again, we were talking before about Maeve being she who intoxicates. She really is the life force energy of the land itself. She is the force of life, the force of every blade of grass, every flower. She is almost every tree as well. And so when we connect with this energy of Maeve visiting the king who was just crowned, really what it is, it's the king being activated in the sovereignty of the land. It's the sacred marriage between the king and the land, between masculine and feminine. And so for our purposes here today, we're going to receive a special initiation of a similar kind from Maeve. And many of you may say, oh, but we're not at the Hill of Tara. I'm not about to become king. Well, in this moment, in this activation, you are. And I invite you not to, when you hear that word king, don't worry so much about the gender roles. Just really recognize that this is a masculine expression of your innate soul power. And part of you stepping into your highest destiny is really claiming this divine sacred masculine power within you. And also Queen Maeve has a lot of divine feminine activation, and there's going to be an enchantment activation she wants to bring through for everyone as well. So without further ado, we're all going to go on a magical journey now. Thank you for being part of this amazing extravaganza. And I just know that Queen Maeve has something really special in store. So we're all going to like go into sacred space. I'm going to take you into a beautiful journey with her. So I invite everyone, just close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths. And I invite you to really just take a moment to anchor in to this now moment. And I'm going to cast a sacred circle to really pull all of us together. So I cast this circle to create a space beyond space and time beyond time. I cast this circle to block out all energies that are not allies of ours. I cast this circle that all energies called forth today remain confined. As above, so below, as within, so without, the circle is sealed. Into the sacred space, I call the elements, earth, air, water, fire. I call the directions, north, south, east, west, above, below, and within. I call upon the one and only Queen Maeve. Be here with us in this space. We have not forgotten you. We come here today to honor, to celebrate, to remember you. Queen Maeve, in your greatness, in your glory, in your undying excellence and intoxicating beauty. Hail and welcome, Maeve. We come to you with open hearts to receive attunement and activation today in the ways of destiny and enchantment. We also call in the many beings of the Tuatha De Danann, the great gods and goddesses of Ireland. We call upon Goddess Bridget of the Triple Flame, the Morrigan, Raven Queen of Ireland, Dagda, the good God. We call upon the goddess Eru, for whom Ireland is named. Danu, the mother goddess. We call in Ogma, the great storyteller. And any beautiful beings from the land of Ireland who wish to be present, we call you forth into this space. We call upon the spirit of Ireland herself. We call upon the rocks and the streams. We call upon the grass. We call upon the land to be here with us, to sing. We call upon the land to sing your sacred soul song in all of our ears, that we may hear the song of Ireland, so loud, so clear, so beautiful. We also call on the ancient kings of Ireland who were previously crowned at the hill of Tara. We call through, we call upon the divine king codes, the divine queen codes to be present for all of us today. And what's more, we call upon the stone of destiny to bring through a sacred and powerful activation of destiny for everyone who is here in attendance. We call upon the information they require to take their next steps. We call upon sacred knowledge, sacred wisdom, the divine understanding they need to make this year, 2024, their most magical yet. And we're intent. So I invite everyone to just take a couple deep breaths. And if you want to add any intentions to the group, this is the moment to do that. And now I invite you to close your eyes and feel yourself transported through time and space. You are suddenly in the heart of ancient Ireland. All around you are beautiful hills that roll and tumble in the distance. You smell something in the air, something sweet, and there, all around you, are hawthorn trees. These are fairy trees. You walk over to one of these hawthorn trees, and as you go closer, you see there is something very special about the bark. There is a door carved into the bark. I invite you to see it there, ornately carved, as if by nature herself. All of a sudden, something stirs within the tree, wanting to come through. The hawthorn tree shakes. There is a being from the other world that steps through the door. There is a great aura of light surrounding her. Little by little, she comes through. This woman is grand and beautiful. Her dress is ornate, and yet there is something so feminine, so sprightly about her. You know, without even having to ask, this is the great fairy Queen Maeve. You greet her, and for a moment, you do not know what to say, for you are surprised to have met her so suddenly, so quickly. Welcome, she says. Welcome to the hill of Tara, this place of kings. Welcome to this place of ancient royalty. I have called you here. I have called you here. There is much for you to experience this day. You are here to be initiated in the ways of destiny, as many have done before you. But not for thousands of years has such a rite occurred. Not for thousands of years have I initiated a king. She takes you by the hand, and you are invited to feel the ethereal quality of her fingers, the lightness and yet the fierceness she possesses. And all of a sudden, you feel something in your heart stir as she blows you a kiss. This kiss moves through the air, almost as if it was made of all different colors, and it lands on you. Perhaps it lands on your heart or your cheek. This is a kiss of sovereignty. and really feel this as a blessing from Maeve herself, this activation of sovereignty from Queen Maeve. And now, before we go any further, I invite you to introduce yourself to this great and glorious Faery Queen. Take a moment to share your name, your purpose, and what you are seeking here today. Beautiful. And now I invite you to see if Queen Maeve has any fairy wisdom for you, anything she wants to impart or to say. Follow me, she says. And all of a sudden, she takes you by the hand, and you see in the distance a great hill that rises taller than all the rest. And the top of this hill, there is a great pillar, a stone that rises high above the earth. This is the Leafal, the stone of destiny. Behold the stone, she says. I am taking you there now, that you may learn of your great destiny, as all the kings who came before you came to learn it for themselves. And as you start to move toward this stone of destiny, all of a sudden you hear a crunching sound behind you. And when you look back, you see that beautiful hawthorn tree that Queen Maeve emerged from, and you see that beautiful bark with the door. Suddenly, there are more creatures coming through. This door, this portal to the other world, is overladen with magical beings. There is suddenly an entourage of creatures coming from the other worlds. You may see fairies coming through the door with such joy and such excitement. You may see leprechauns. You may see a great bull. Whatever you see is perfect. But one thing you notice is they do not stop coming. There is an entourage of them, and they do not stop. They're all here today to be with Queen Maeve, and they are here today for this sacred ceremony, for this sacred giving of destiny codes, the sacred giving of king codes that you are here to receive as you step into destiny and enchantment. All of these magical beings follow you and Maeve up the hill to the stone of destiny. Step by step, you walk through beautiful emerald colored grass. The sun beats down on your face, and it is the most amazing thing you have ever felt. It's almost like you're being kissed by the sun, and the sky itself is celebrating that you are here to claim your soul destiny, that you are here to take up this sacred right. The land itself has been calling you. The earth itself has been calling you to step up, to rise up, to meet this destiny that is each and every day of your life called to you in your heart. This is the day that you will receive knowledge, inspiration, wisdom, the answers you seek. And all of a sudden, you find yourself nearing the top of this hill. There's part of you that wants to go back, part of you that is afraid to go to the stone of destiny. But you know the land has chosen you, and you could not be here if you were not chosen. You look to Queen Maeve for encouragement. She gives you a very soft and gentle look. And now really look into her eyes. And as you look into her eyes, there is an activation, a transmission of love and enchantment from her eyes to yours. There is a softness to this queen, something you did not expect. There's also a sense of her seeing and knowing the very best in you, your highest potential. May sees you in all that you are in this moment, All that exists in your heart in this moment is revealed to her. She sees to the very core of you. And take a moment to allow yourself to be seen in the totality of who you are. And as Queen Maeve is looking at you, feel old parts of yourself, parts you may have forgotten or discarded, coming to the surface. In this moment, come into the wholeness, the fullness of all that you are, for all of it will be needed to claim your destiny. There is not a single part of you that will not be called to rise. And if there's a part of you that is afraid, Queen Maeve takes you by the hand. And now there's a transmission, a beautiful white light. And this is a clearing transmission. It's almost translucent. You see this beautiful energy coming from her hands. And this is clearing away, transmuting any part of you that is still afraid to step into your bigness, your wholeness, any part of you that's still afraid to rise and meet your destiny. In this moment, there is a softening. And just really feel this very light, almost translucent energy moving from her hands, swirling all around you. This is neutralizing, and yet it's also very, very safe. You suddenly feel that you are held in this great hug, as if this beautiful translucent light is a cocoon. You are held in the light of safety and protection. This is the safety and protection of Ireland itself. Ireland is here supporting you to make your dreams a reality, to step into the highest manifestation of your soul. And here in this moment, you feel something in your heart activate. There is a flame within your very, very heart, the beating heart within you that is suddenly alight. And this is the fire so often associated with Queen Maeve at Beltane. There is a fire within you that is burning brightly, a fire in your heart. Let this fire burn brightly, that you may have the courage, the strength to fully claim all that is here for you today and all the days of your life. You look once more at the sun, and now once more at Maeve. She takes your hand and says, "It is not much farther. The stone of destiny is so close. You see it there in the distance. I invite you to really see the stone now coming up out of the earth. There's a solemnity, a wisdom, a gravitas. There's an aura of ancient knowledge, which is coming from the stone itself. Even being in its presence, it's like you've gone to a place beyond time. It's like you've gone back thousands of years. With each step you take, moving closer to the stone of destiny, you suddenly feel Maeve's power coursing through you, meeting the power which has been in you all along. In this moment, you feel activating within your very heart and soul, your unique soul power. And this is what Maeve is truly activating here for you today. Even though you are here to receive destiny codes, enchantment codes, here she wants you to fully claim the power inside you. There are parts of you that are still not fully blossomed, she says. Here in this moment, we call upon the full blossoming of your power, the full blossoming of all the magic, all the enchantment that is waiting to come into full bloom. And in this moment, feel the power within you. Feel the power within you as the center of a great flower. Feel this great power within you, this sacred power that is the seed, the root of your destiny. Feel this blossoming now. Come into the sacred blossoming of your true heart and soul power, your magnificence here. Just take a moment to really feel yourself now as this magnificent flower and really feel this energy of yourself as this beautiful, beautiful flower of light. You enchant and intoxicate all of creation all of life. You magnetize all that you desire to you. You enchant the world with the magnificence of all that you are. And now, all of a sudden, you suddenly move one step closer. You feel complete in yourself. And at last, Queen Maeve releases your hand. You find yourself before the stone of destiny. And I invite you now to really see the stone before you, to feel the transmission of power that comes from the stone, as if the stone itself seems to sing and vibrate in your presence. It suddenly cries out because you have come. The stone only cries out in the presence of a true king. It recognizes your majesty. It recognizes your divine right to be here. And now I invite you to really connect energetically with the stone of destiny and see if there are any visions that are granted to you, any words of wisdom about your particular destiny in this lifetime. I know that the stone of destiny has a very solemn air, so this wisdom may not be as forthcoming as words from Queen Maeve, but just trust that whatever is coming through is perfect and exactly what you're meant to receive here today. Beautiful. And now all of a sudden you turn and you see that Queen Maeve is standing there with the most beautiful crown. She invites you to kneel down and take this crown from her. She slowly places the crown upon your head. And in this moment, feel the activation of ancient king codes, the activation of Ireland's magic, all coursing through this beautiful sacred crown that Queen Maeve is placing so delicately, so lightly upon your forehead. And there, all of a sudden, you feel the rejoicing of the stone, the rejoicing of the land, and Queen Maeve's entourage. Oh my goodness, the celebration. You have never seen such revelry, such joy. They dance, they sing, really fully open in this moment to stepping into your destiny, your true soul power. And in this moment, there's a great magic that comes from Queen Maeve's fingers. You may see this as a beautiful pink and purple light, and this is an activation of enchantment. And also you feel coming from the stone, there is a great light, and this is an activation of destiny. And you feel the crown on your head bringing through the ancient royal codes of Ireland's past, present, and future. Here in this moment, let all of the codes come through together. The codes of destiny, the codes of enchantment, the codes of divine kingship and queenship. Fully receive this now. And we also call upon the Tuatha Dé Danann to bring through any codes that you specifically need, any energy you specifically need to step into your highest timeline, the highest joy, the highest mirth of your soul, the magic that is your birthright. And you can see coming down from the heavens these beautiful golds and silver raindrops from the Tuatha Dé Danann themselves. And just open to receive this transmission. And as all this energy is coming through, just see if there are words you hear. See if there are symbols or visions that are shown to you. For this is a moment of destiny. It is destiny that has brought you here, Ireland that has brought you here. And she has wisdom for you, magic for you. Just open to receive it. Beautiful. And now I invite you to take one last look at this place, the splendor, the glory, the beauty of this beautiful hill, the hill of Tara. Feel the presence of all of the kings who were crowned here before. Feel the history of this place. Look at Queen Maeve. Feel also the imprint of the divine feminine, the sovereignty goddess, the fairy queen of the lands. And now I invite you to receive a final message from Queen Maeve. See if there is any last words of wisdom, any fairy wisdom she is called to bring through. Beautiful. And now before you leave the sacred place, you see coming towards you another being that is covered. She is a great goddess, and she's covered with raven feathers. Some of the fairies seem a little intimidated by her, but all look at her with the utmost reverence and respect. This beautiful raven queen is none other than the Morrigan. She is another sovereignty goddess, battle goddess, and she brings today a special transmission of fearlessness for everyone here. And though her appearance, though her stories may sometimes bring people into more of a place of fear, you notice there is so much more to this goddess and the stories have portrayed. You see in her eyes, there is this great love for you, this great love for this land. And she is wanting nothing more than the highest evolution of your soul. And she has come here today with a gift. Do not be afraid, she says. Do not be afraid of me. Do not be afraid of your destiny. Do not be afraid of rising up, of becoming more. Whatever that resistance is that is holding you back, here I bring through sacred energy, codes to transmute this. And you are invited to move closer to the Morrigan, to really see her now before you as this loving figure, this mother figure who wants you to rise up in fearlessness, to fearlessly claim your destiny. She places a hand on your heart. And as you experience this hand on your heart, there is a great caw in the sky, and you see a raven flying overhead. There is a light that moves from the Morrigan's hand to your heart. And just receive this transmission of fearlessness. Receive this transmission. You may go forth boldly, bravely. Don't let anything stop you, she says. Don't let anything hold you back. You have what it takes. Know that always. And just really see this beautiful golden light coming from the hands of the Morrigan. And for some of you, you may feel her kiss the top of your forehead. Receive this blessing from her. All of a sudden, she transforms into her raven form and takes the sky. And now you have everything you need. You have the courage, the fearlessness to fearlessly pursue your destiny. You are now a great king, a great queen of magic and enchantments, and you are ready to go forth and claim all that is here for you on this beautiful, beautiful lifetime, on this sacred day. And now I invite you to take one last look at this place and feel yourself transported through time and space back to the room where you first began today's journey. I invite you to really take a couple deep breaths. You might want to rub your palms together, move your feet against the floor, really come back, really anchor into this now moment, into this space. And I'm just curious how that was for everyone. I know everyone's still coming back, but if people want to write in the chat, or if anyone wants to actually come on camera and share how that was for them, I'm just curious, especially when the Stone of Destiny spoke to you, if there's anything really special that came through. And I know you guys may still be really coming back, so I'll talk for a minute while you guys are getting ready to write in the chat. But I just want to say that I've had so much fun connecting, connecting today with all of you. Like I just, these beautiful beings. Tomorrow, I hope everyone comes back for day 2. Tomorrow we'll be working with Dagda. And so Dagda is it's funny, he is, many of you love. I know of all the goddesses, I think Bridget is the most loved goddess. And so Bridget, goddess of the triple flame, Dagda is her father. And it's interesting because there's not a lot really known about him. There are stories, there are kind of bits and pieces. And I'm really excited because tomorrow you're going to have a really direct meeting with Dagda. And also you're going to experience 2 of the other treasures of the Turadanen. And one of them is Dagda's Cauldron of Plenty. And I love this because this is a cauldron that, I think my computer's lagging a little bit here, but is a cauldron that you never went hungry. The cauldron is a cauldron of epic sustenance, and anyone who comes to the cauldron never goes away hungry. So there's another one of the 4 treasures of the Turadanen. And let me see here in the chat. Oh, you hope I'm going to email a replay because you only caught the very end. Oh, yes, this is all going out. Don't worry, this is all going to go out. You're all going to have in case you guys want to do this activation again, you'll have the recording. Don't worry about that. But so tomorrow, I'm just kind of giving you guys more of a sense. So tomorrow, we're really going to be looking at Dagda, and he has, like I said, that beautiful cauldron of plenty. And he also has what I love. He has an enchanted harp. And so tomorrow we're really going more into this theme of enchantment, but it's like really through the enchantment of magical objects. And I love Dagda's harp because it plays 3 different kinds of songs. So on the one hand, it plays, there's a music it plays that it brings everyone to mirth and laughter. And there's another music that it plays that brings everyone to tears. It is, the music of sadness. And lastly, Dagda's harp plays the song of sleep, and everyone who listens is brought into the greatest sleep. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to share, is that there is even more magic and enchantment coming your way tomorrow. And Queen Maeve, I feel I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that she wants to bring through. She really just wants everyone to be very enchanted in this kind of fairy energy, this fairy magic. And like I said, while she is a fairy queen, she's also very much wanting to help everyone step into the full power of their soul. And that's what she really wanted to bring through for everyone today. So let me just see in the chat. Let's see. Okay. Oh, Flora, you said that was quite intense. In the very beginning, there was such a strong scent. I know the flower thing was very big. I really felt that coming through for her. So for you, the scent was like vanilla, mixed with something. You've never experienced something like this. No, this is very Queen Maeve. So her message that was important to you was that your personal stories have nothing to do with your destiny. That's really powerful, actually. You had a vision of a tree and a spider web reaching out to your heart in the endless space. So you're going to journal more on that experience. Wow, that's amazing. I just want to share this. I love this idea that you said your personal stories have nothing to do with your destiny. And I think that's so important because so many times we look back. I can just share this. So for me, there are different stories that I have had to completely release to fully claim my destiny. And it's interesting because one of the stories that like I picked up, it's a family story. It's like the story of being a victim. And so I didn't know that I had this story because I knew that my family members had it, but I started to see it play out. And I would kind of look back at different moments in my life. And it was always like, oh, that bad thing happened and that bad thing happened. And I realized that for me to claim my highest soul destiny, I realized that I couldn't be a victim and the creatrix. I couldn't be both. So I had that moment of releasing that personal story of, oh, things don't always work out for me. Like for some reason, I can never get ahead. There's always like that. That's a story I had to release because I knew that truly for me to step into the highest destiny, I could only be the creatrix. And so that's also the intention. I think that's why Queen Maeve was so big today about you stepping into your power, because she knows every single person called to this, you have a destiny that is beautiful, something that is more amazing and more beautiful than even the one you have dreamed in your heart. She invites you to believe in it with a fairy's heart. And to really, like, I think a lot of times we think, oh, our dreams could never be quite as beautiful as we imagine them. They could never feel as amazing. And yet, what she's wanting to bring through is there are higher levels of rapture and joy that you have not even imagined yet that are calling to you. And that really is, that's something that also was coming through when I was preparing for today. We always think, the word destiny sounds very similar to destination. And when I was getting ready last night, I heard the destination is happiness. So it really is this whole thing of it's all within. It's that claiming of personal power, that claiming of rapture, this intoxication with life. And when we claim that happiness, that rapture and intoxication with life, that is the moment we arrive. That is the moment we arrive and our highest destiny finds us. So I just wanted to share that I love, Fleur, that you brought that through, the releasing of old personal stories, even ones that we've carried with us sometimes for generations. Sometimes we have to release those because your destiny is your birthright. Your destiny is your birthright. And there's a saying I love, don't look back. You're not going that way. That's just something I wanted to bring through. And let's just see here. Sylvia, you said you felt that there's a stone flowing with golden light and spirals. Oh my goodness, you had there was golden emerald frequencies, you had fairy wings growing. Woo! And were invited to remember that you have the ability to shapeshift into energy. Sorry, I can't. You remember that you had the ability to shapeshift into anything. Wow. And that you had the courage of a lioness. That is so beautiful. And I almost could just keep reading these. Also, there's heart music and the Celtic Druidic Queen came through for you. And then Linda from Tennessee, you said the stone spoke to you with outstretched arms. You'll have to spend some more time understanding the significance and meaning of that. And interestingly enough, the Morrigan led you to the Kaliak. Yes, I should have called in the Kaliak. For those of you who don't know, the Kaliak is, I kind of think of her as like an ancestor, but she's a goddess, but I really feel like she is the land itself. She holds the ancientness of Ireland so much within her. She's this primordial, primal goddess of the land. So let me just see, maybe one more. Katerina, your message was very powerful. It was Ireland saying, do not wait any longer. I love that. Let me just see if there are a couple more because I love all of these. Okay, so Rama, you were asked to fill yourself with, green and emerald lights. This is so beautiful. Okay, so I wish I could read all of these, but there's another person who saw giant fairy wings flapping slowly. Oh my goodness. And let's see, you didn't get a message from Maeve or the Morrigan, but you did see them very clearly. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so thank you everyone for being here. Those of you who came live, you brought the magic big time. And again, I'm just really feeling this invitation to remind everyone, you are the magic. You are the magic. And another thing I'm hearing, what do you have to release to fully be and embody the magic that you are? And I said this earlier, and I wanted to bring it back full circle. This idea of if you want more enchantments in your life, it's like you have to become that enchantress. You get to become that force in the world. And so to become that, is there something you have to release to become this beacon of enchantment? Because enchantment, that's the whole thing. You might think of enchantment as like a beautiful harp music playing. You might think of enchantment as, again, like the smell of a beautiful flower. And it's really what I want to invite you to consider. What is enchantment to you? Because enchantment is different for every person. And what enchants one may not enchant someone else. So really, that's kind of your homework. Go, I think go deep within. Look at what enchants you. Maybe there's a certain kind of movie that you like. Maybe there's a certain kind of, story or a book. And it could be that whenever it's that kind of story, it's like the rest of the world stops existing. So first find out what enchants you, and then remember to let yourself open fully, to let yourself be enchanted by life. Life is wanting to dance with you. Life is wanting to enchant you. Life is wanting to make magic with you. And that's really what I feel Queen Maeve saying, that this is a dance. This is a dance that you get to step into. And the destination, your destiny may be happiness, but on the way, dance with the enchantment of all things. Fully claim the joy of being alive. And I think that's the final message today from Queen Maeve. But let me just see if there's anything else in the chat. Oh, Rami, you were talking about the hawthorns. There, those trees are blessings over wells and springs, with gifts of all kinds offered in their branches by for all who visit. Yes, I love hawthorns. And for anyone, if you guys go to the Hill of Tara, I know some of you are going. I think some of you are going in the fall. I also might have something in the works for anyone who wants to go to Ireland with me. I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about that tomorrow. But so if anyone wants to experience the Hill of Tara in person, there is more of a way for you to do that. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little hint about that. And I think that's it for today. But let me just see. So yes, tomorrow, our Enchanted Ireland Extravaganza continues. There will be a great story with Dagda. This is actually one of my favorite stories with Dagda and his enchanted harp. We're going more deeply into the legends of the Tuatha Dé Danann. There's going to be another activation with Dagda, and I also am going to share some of the things that have been brewing behind the scenes, the things that I've been really called to create and share with all of you. So I'm sending all of you so much love, and I hope to see all of you back tomorrow. And for those of you who want the replay, it will be coming in a couple hours. I'm sending you all so much love, and I can't wait to see all of you again tomorrow.